She was almost positive that there was at least one from her brother that was probably bearable. But Dylan didn't think she could keep reading the family chat if she wanted to retain her, basically, positive reputation in the office. Buxom's office was like every other trendy, millennial-dominated workplace in London. Although the magazine covers adorning the walls and the endless stashes of makeup, sex toys, face products, and clothes likely differentiated it from the others. She liked the open space and the feeling of being around everyone all day. Having someone else to stare at, cry to, or talk things through with was instrumental when she was writing. Not that she was doing much of that these days. Their small kitchen was tucked away in a corner behind the fire exit stairs, down a short, dark, brick-lined corridor that played a sharp contrast to the bright, open office. It had taken Dylan 6 months to realise this kitchen was here. Dylan grabbed a pair of mugs off the mug tree in the corner, and after refilling the kettle, leaned back up against the cupboards. She shouldn't check WhatsApp. She knew she shouldn't. The first few times Dylan's mum had spouted off, Dylan had been reduced to tears. In this very kitchen, in fact. But now, after 9 months of this, she knew what to expect. It was the same line of argument, the same points, and as much as Dylan wanted to say it didn't faze her anymore, the hard knots in her gut begged to differ. She clicked out of the family chat without reading the most recent wall of texts and popped into her private conversation with Sean. Dylan, nothing like a bit of family drama to spice up the morning. Typing appeared almost immediately underneath Sean's name at the top of her screen. Sean, Mam literally needs to get herself together. I'm sick of this. Dylan exhaled, the knots in her stomach pulling tighter. It was easy to hope that it really could be that simple. That her mother could just decide not to care about something that really wasn't worth all this emotional turmoil. Dylan, couldn't have put it better myself. Sean, funny, seeing as you're the writer. Dylan snorted. Dylan, you are? YOU''re? Sean, keyboard smash. Piss off, you know I don't care about grammar. Sean, it's a social construct, etc., etc. Dylan, I mean, yes, but I think we can also agree you only think so because you were rubbish at English. Sean, I can't be good at everything, Dill. Sean, it'd be massively unfair. Dylan, really big keyboard smash. Sean, it would be. Sean, I'm an Adonis. Dylan, OMG. Sean, God at maths. Dylan, do people like people who are good at maths? Sean, I'm basically a comedian. Sean, replying to, do people like? Yes, they do. Dylan, right, that makes sense given how many friends you had at school. Sean, that was out of order. Dylan laughed, a deep, genuine laugh, for the first time that day. For as long as she could remember, Sean had been the main constant in her life. They were only 11 months apart, but as children, they'd moved as a duo, inseparable, as though they were actually twins. Most of her school friends hated their younger brothers, but, barring the attempted drowning of 1993, Dylan and Sean had always been as thick as thieves. Somehow I think your ego will survive it. You're cruel. That's what they tell me. Afua smiled up at Dylan as she approached, 5 minutes later, with their tea. Cheers, Dylan. Afua accepted the mug and took a sip, and Dylan tried not to drop too pathetically back into her chair. She loved her job. Really, she did. But she also knew that the people who told you they loved their job, that they really did, were also the same people who spent at least 36 of the unnecessary 40 hours a week staring up at the ceiling tiles, wishing everything about said job was completely different. But Dylan did love her job. Really. It was just that her editor was fucking sadistic. How's it coming along?